This is the CALLERLAB Convention, the 39th annual convention here in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's a grand old opportunity. This particular session is about rectangles. I am Tom Miller. I am your moderator. That means I get to bounce people out of here if I need to. Perfect. Your two panelists today, the gentleman to my left hails from Massachusetts. Nice hand for Don Beck. The gentleman to my right from California, who has done this panel before, no, it's not my older brother, is Bob Elling. So nice hand for Bob Elling. Rectangles, or sometimes better known as six-couple squares, is something that we can do to different teaching techniques. Maybe if you only have 6 couples, that you can get everybody participating. And or if you have 2 couples or 8 couples and someone decides to leave, you can still get people dancing and so forth. And these two gentlemen are going to explain the things that you can do and show you some things that you can do with rectangle squares. This is a recorded session, so throughout the next hour or so, if you have any questions, we would appreciate that you raise your hand, take the microphone, and state your name and where you're from and ask the question. We're going to try to do no dead silence on the tape if possible. All right. If you raise your hand, we'll try to do it in the order that I've seen it and so forth. So let's get the session started. Don Beck.
Thank you, Tom. My apologies for being late, guys. I was doing another session across the hall, and as usual, there were questions afterwards, and you have to wrap up, and I got lost coming over here. The topic is one that I know Bob has talked about the last 2 or 3 conventions. 2. And he's always had a large audience because it's very entertaining what he does. And it's very entertaining to the dancers also. What I do is a little different. It's not going to be all that entertaining to you, but hopefully it'll be really useful. It will be entertaining to the dancers. And what I've tried to do is when I use 6-couple dancing, and I call it 6-couple instead of rectangles, and you'll see why very soon, is that I try to make it so that it's very easy to use, that any caller can fit it into their repertoire real easily with the information you already know, without memorizing some really cute get-outs that Bob will fill in the lines for some cute get-outs afterwards. And Bob and I have talked, and I'm going to try and keep it fairly short because I don't have that much. It doesn't take that much to tell you what we need. And then he's going to embellish with the time he's got left. And as I did next door, he'll probably run over on his half as I did follow up there. Can we have a square up here?
No, 12 dancers. You need 6 couples.
Can we have a square up here, please?
Yeah, I will.
Or if you would rather, can we have 3 squares? Do we have enough for 3 squares? Let's stay with the square. Can we have a square of dancers, please? Square your set.
Normal square, guys.
Okay. Let's have the sides lead right and circle to a line. Sides lead right and circle.
Take your time.
Okay, I'll keep it to basic calls. What I usually do is, or try to do is this. Now, can we have 2 other couples come up and join these people? We got one. We need 1 more couple up here. I used to think this was easier to set up than trying to tell them about a rectangular square with 4 heads and chins. And so I usually start from here. And if I'm lucky enough to have a bigger square that has 3 squares across, I'll say sides lead right and circle to a line. Now the center square slide apart with your partner and join the side square. So I've got 2 lines of 6 couples. And with some groups I have to say, don't worry, it's not contras. I wish I didn't have to say that, but some people get nervous when they think they're going to do contras. So now the directions to the dancers. The directions that I usually give to the dancers. This is all you have to do to the dancers. By the way, there's a handout up here. It'll summarize what I'm doing. If you read it first, it'll confuse you. I tried to read it and it confused me. So what I tell the dancers is where you are now is home position. Everything else you're going to do is exactly like you normally do. With one exception, if I call grand right and left to your original partner, you go 6 hands to your original partner instead of 4 hands to your original partner. But aside from that, it's all the same. And I'm looking for my outline here. That's the outline for mental image. 6 couples. There we go. What you're effectively in is 0 lines, just like a lot of callers are used to using 0 lines. Instead of a 1P, 2P line, you've got a 1P, 2P, 3P line. But it's effectively 0 lines. And almost any choreography you can normally do from 0 lines with 4 couples, you can do with this. In fact, if I was lucky enough to have 4 squares, I had the 3 squares in front break into 2 6-couple groups. I could have the 4th square in the back dancing as a normal square, starting in lines. And anything I call for this square will work for the square in back. It's all the same. Or I could put another set of couples on the end and do 8-couple dancing. It's not as much fun, but it can be done. So somebody give me a really simple get out from well, actually, let me give you one. A get out from 0 lines. Everybody do a star through. Square through 3/4. Alaman left. And promenade home, or square your set in this case. Standard get out that everybody uses from 0 lines, or at least used to until they found out new ones. That's how it works. You guys didn't know you were in something else other than here. And the dancers are blown away by this for some strange reason. Somebody else give me a 0 line get out. Touch a quarter. Column circulate. Men run. Alaman left. Promenade backwards an 8th, or whatever it takes to get home. In the handout, I give you a bunch of not fancy examples, typical examples. Let's just do where are we? Now, I'm not going to call pass through wheel and deal. Pass through and wheel and deal says I've got 2 couples coming this way, 2 couples coming that way, and 1 smushed in the center. If I want to get fancy, or would you wait till Bob, you can do pass through 3 couples left and 3 wheel to the right and double pass through and 3 go left. You can do that. But we're going to stick with standard stuff that you don't have to teach the dancers anything other than what they already know. Let's everybody do a left square through 4 hands. Alaman left. Come back and square your set, whatever it is. Everyone touch a quarter. Women run. Do a right and left grand. It's hand over hand over hand over hand over hand over. When you meet your original partner, promenade home. So substitute your own typical modules in there. Okay, the next thing that I have on the handout is I call this an 8-chain-1 formation. It's a formation you can do an 8-chain-1 and get to an Alaman left. Let's have everybody do a star through and a right and left through. Basically the same thing. From here I can pass through to a trade by formation and an Alaman left, or an 8-chain-1. And I got to it in a simple way. There are other ways you can do it. Some of those are listed in table 2. I don't know. Let's see, what did I have for get outs from 8-chain-1? You can do an 8-chain-1. Don't do it. 8-chain-7 will get you there, yes. Do a swing through. Men trade. Grand right and left. Promenade home. Do a right and left through. Oh, wait, all right. Go ahead. No, yeah, do a right and left through. Let's set up the 8-chain-1 first. I was going to do it directly from here. Slide through. You're an 8-chain-1 formation. Do-se-do to a wave. Men run. Promenade home. Anything you can do from a 0 line, you can do almost anything you can do from here. And that's got them dancing. Now, let's see, where do we want to go? And you can go to Allman lefts or grand right lefts. Everybody quarter in to face your partner. From here, you can do a grand right and left. All you got to do is dance them around a little bit. Star through, right left through, and half sachet and bang. Whatever it takes to get them to this position. Face across again. Let's see. Let's everybody star through. And I'm treating this half of the square now. I'm looking at them. I want them to do a dive through and square through 3/4, but don't you dare do a dive through. Ever. Because these guys are diving and these are arching. These guys are diving and these are arching. And these guys are both diving and crashing into each other. I want everybody to do a pass to the center. Same effect, but it works. Do it right and left, or square through 3/4. Everybody pass through. Allman left. Okay, now we can take this to a zero box from a zero line. The method I use most frequently is one that thank you, Rich, is that Rich mentioned before. Everybody touch a quarter? All 8 or all 12. Circulate. Men run. You're now effectively in a zero box. Everybody facing corner. Your partner's back to back with you or next to you on the outside. I can do an Allman left. I can do any of my zero box stuff. Let's do a swing through. Have you heard that one before? Men run, sounding familiar. Ferris wheel. You did it nicely. Right and left through. Center square through 3/4. And there's Allman left. There's your... Yeah. So any of your normal zero box stuff you can do after you convert a zero lines to a zero box like we just did. Let's see, I had another conversion that's almost as typical. Not that one. Not that one. Not as typical, but everybody do a flutter wheel. Touch quarter. Coordinate. Wheel and deal, don't Ferris wheel. And you got it. And you got a zero box, am I correct? Same place you were before. And again, that'll work 4 couples, 6 couples, 8 couples, and it's number B on the examples for that. All right, so from here you can do zeros, you can do equivalents. Let's do some stuff. Do a swing through. Men run. Couples circulate. Chain down the line. So we started in a zero box, am I correct? Or were we with zero lines? Okay. Do a half square through. Trade by. Allman left. Come back and promenade. Short. Reverse. Let's see. Let's do, that's jumping ahead. There are conversions that take you back from a zero box to a zero line. We're now at a zero box kind of thing. Let's do a zero line. Let's do a right and left through. Past the ocean. So I know I can do a step through here to an Allman left, or a turn half by the right to a right and left grand. We've been using zeros and equivalents in our group of 4. You can also do some zeros and equivalents that involve everybody. I could, and you're about to do a spin chain the gears. It's a zero. But what? Somebody tell me? It's a technical zero. I could do a relay the deucey. but I wouldn't know where the heck I was or where you guys were. It wouldn't be non-symmetric. But all right, so what it's saying, if I'm going to do an everybody kind of movement that is 0 and I can follow because I'm a module caller, it has to be a technical 0. Relay the deucey won't work. Spin chain the gears will. Do a spin chain the gears. Trade right, left 3/4, the ends turn back. 3 stars. Oh, center guys trade? How do you do that? It's been a while. Three. Not the very centers. Those guys did already. Yeah. Turn your stars. Ladies hook right and trade. Ladies 3/4, men turn back. And supposedly this is a ready to step through. Everybody recycle. Sweep a quarter. Star through. Do an 8 chain 1. There's your corner, Alaman left. Promenade home. Now, relay the deucey. Yes, you can. In fact, Bob does that, I believe.
Tell them not to be shouting out. If they have a question or comment.
Okay. You're right. This is being taped, so you guys should be talking on the mic, and I have it so you can't. Somebody asked, I thought a relay to deucey would work. What happens on a relay to the deucey is one of 2 things. Either you end up with boy, girl, boy waves on the ends, and the center is a girl, boy wave, which is harder to get out of because it's not the normal kind of thing we work with. Or you tell them relay the deucey, but in the giant wave, instead of going 4 hands, you go to 6. My preference is to not have to teach them any new rules. My preference is that when I tell you guys to do a relay the deucey, that the square of 4 couples left over in the back won't get screwed up by telling them to go 6 hands. So I'm just trying to keep it simple. This is a gimmick. Gimmicks work fine once in a while, especially dancers appreciate it, so one couple doesn't have to go home early, or 2 couples. But a gimmick, when overdone, is a pain. It's really not very fun for the dancers. But when you're only doing a little of it, you don't have to go very far with it. They will appreciate it. They like this. Let me show you. Do a right and left through. Pass the ocean. Swing through. Men run. Ferris wheel. Centers sweep a quarter. Centers pass the ocean. I'm going to make it even easier. Swing through double. If I call a ping pong circulate from here, it's physically possible, but it's not it's a strange kind of technical 0. I have to do a ladies trade before it. Do a ladies trade, center ladies trade. Now if I do from here a recycle square through 3/4, it's going to get me a square through 3/4 pass through. It's going to get me to the corner. But I'm going to do a ping pong circulate first. Do a ping pong circulate. Move up to 2 waves. That takes a hint the first time. Okay, now do a recycle. Right and left through. Pass through twice. Alaman left. No? Okay. Square your set and let me call it for real. Too much talking. I forgot what I was doing here. Everybody touch a quarter. All circulate once. Men run like at 0 boxes. Right and left through. Veer to the left. Ferris wheel. Center sweep a quarter. Pass the ocean. From here, if I do a recycle and pass through, I'll get to the corner. But first we're going to do a ping pong circulate. Do it. 2 waves, not a very center wave. Now do that recycle and pass through. Now do an Alaman left. Okay. If I'm calling instead of talking and calling and calling and talking. Let's see. There are conversions in here that take you from the 0 box back to the 0 line. Has anybody here, just a quick thought, was anybody in my last session across the hall for mental image calling? or last year's mental image, or read my book out of sight, or heard last year's online? Just one or two, okay. If you're using mental image with this, all the rules we talked about there extend to 6 couples instead of 4, but we won't talk about it because it'll bore people. But it's some really cool stuff. The last thing I want to talk about is singing calls. When I do this tip for dancers, they say, do a singing call. And I'll generally say, no, I don't feel like working that hard. But very easily, you got to rotate partners 6 times instead of 4. You've got 7 pieces of music. You're going to go 6 rotating and 1 center break. I'll either do the break at the very beginning or in the middle, depending on what I feel like, and then just go to the corner, whichever way you want to do with your zeros and equivalents, and swing them instead of an Allemande left, and make sure you give them enough time to promenade all the way around. I generally do just promenades. Every once in a while, I'll throw in the grand right and left with the hand over hand over hand. I know you got a long ways to go, kind of thing. But that's about it. Is really, if you know modules from 0 boxes and 0 lines and go back and forth between them and what have you, you got it in your hands right now. I've told other groups this, and they come back the following week or the following month at the Callers Association meeting. Well, I tried that, and dancers loved it. So it's not as glitzy as some of the stuff I think Bob's going to do, but it's a good place to start, and then he can add to that. Give these guys a hand for demonstrating. Can I take one question right now? We have a question from the floor.
So, can you do across the street box sort of things? No.
Sure. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can do across the street box. You can pretty much what you know, if I do the Ferris wheel, get them into the center and then half square through it over there, or star through, pass through, right and left through, and I'm doing my stuff over there and then bring them back. You have another question over here?
Jeff from St. Augustine. So in reality, there's no heads or sides when you do a singing call. Okay.
Right. I'll probably say heads and sides and say, oh, forget it. Just go forward and back, you know.
Dennis Clark from Indianapolis. My first question is, when I have seen this done in my area, there has been heads and there have been 4 heads and 2 sides.
Bob will be doing it that way.
Okay. And the second question is, I'm getting the impression that this is done more with modules than with sight calling. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes. I can module with it. I can mental image with it. I cannot sight with it. I've tried a little, but I get all messed up. And dancers, it's not worth your time me playing these games with myself, so I won't bother sighting with it. You can 4 couples sight and, you know, and get them back to the same spot and go from there. And what was the first question? Oh, yeah, I find that starting with lines like this, it's easier to set up. You don't have to make special, you know, sides lead right to a line, others join them. You don't have to give the dancers special ways to set it up. You know, you're going to have 2 couples next to each other in the heads and 1 couple on the sides. And then you don't have to, I don't know, it seems a little easier to me to set up, so I choose to do it this way. I like to do it across the hall like this rather than contour line things because I can see them better. And it looks more like a 0 box or 0 lines to me as a caller. But most people do it the other way, and I think from what I remember from previous years, Bob does also. We have one more question from the floor before Bob gets going.
Don, you indicated you can't sight call, but if you use isolated sight and work with those 4 couples, even if you rotate them in, mix it up, and then bring them back, you can use anything that 2 couples can do. You can do in that.
You can use isolated sight. The only thing when I think of sight is, I think of sight calling as a 3-part thing. Memorize who started with whom, dance them randomly any place you want, and then pull that other thing out of memory and resolve. And dancing anywhere you want blows my mind on this. But yeah, as far as an isolated sight, as I said, you can dance these 2 couples together and sight them out, and you can take them down to the next center group and dance isolated sight and keep them there together until you get them in the same relative position and such. This was the basics of where to start. You can go overboard from that and build on it as you work with it. I wanted to make it just a place for you to start, and one tip a night or one tip a month is plenty with it. But thank you, guys. Bill, Tom?
Very good. Bob?
Hi, guys. Can I get 6 couples up to make a rectangle? Yeah, this was a rectangle session. I want to show you some of the stuff that I get that makes me the hero wherever I go, if you would. I love this stuff. And let me give you a little background. I kept running into a situation where I had between 5 or 7 couples, between 6 and 7, either at the beginning of a dance or at the end of the dance. What'd that mean? You square up and 2 couples are sitting out, right? I didn't like that. So I started perfecting, I was looking for something more that would be happy. And what's evolved over the years, when I go somewhere, they request it. And the best episode I ever had, I went up to Eureka, California, called a dance. At the end of the dance, there were 6 couples, and they got up and formed a 6-couple square, and they looked up at me and they said, "Could you do 6 couples?" I said, "I don't know." Whoa, I had such fun with them. But unlike Don, I love the rectangle, okay? I want you to know we can do weird things, and that's what I'm going to try to work at first, Heads square through 4. When I set these up, I don't have any of these problems about, we're not going to do it. Make a wave. As you heard, I do relay the Ducey from here. This sells it. One call, you own that floor. The victory of achieving a relay to Ducey with 6 couples is just totally awesome. Swing half by the right, boy 3/4. Pause for a sec when the boys have a wave. Girls, you're all lined up, right? One at a time, you're going to go up and meet the man you started with and make the wave. So the first girl go up. Related to do a swing through in the wave. Second girl replace the boy. Do another swing through. Last girl move up, meet last boy. Swing right. Girl 3/4, boy move up to the original girl. No, darling, the other left hand. Turn around, catch the left hand. There you go, 3/4, that's 1. There you go. Oh, did the boys move up? Okay, now, you can have this problem at a class, and that's perfectly all right. Now we're going to reteach them. Did you know that relay to Ducey was the ultimate monogamous call? You only play with one person. Who do you have by the wave? That's the person that's important. Swing half by the right, boy 3/4. First girl, look in front of you. There's your corner. Go up, make a wave, and swing through. He leaves. Second girl, meet your corner. Swing him. Next girl, move up. It's your corner. Swing right. Girls turn left 3/4, and it's monogamous. Who did you meet? So you don't want them to memorize that whole series of things. All you do is memorize the person who's got your right hand. Piece of cake. Now, to help them out, if you're moving along, relay to Ducey, go. First girl move up, swing 6 hands. Second girl move up, swing 4 hands. Third girl move up, swing 2 hands. Hold on, girls. It's their 3/4, and you got them. Those little things, and you own them right away, okay? Now, let's have a swing through right here. Do an AC Ducey. If we had a regular square, everybody now has their partner, right? Boy run around a girl. Guess what? It works with 6 couples. Bend the line. Touch a quarter. I add something to when I call coordinate, because there was a girl who tried to move up, and technically you were right. You were in the middle. The center's, but we want you to make it like a normal square. Coordinate 1.5, centers trade. Girls hold on, and the boy move up. Then you don't have a mistake somewhere on the floor. Anticipate the problems, get rid of them, okay? You got your corner, by the way, right? Couples circulate. Bend the line. Guess what? You still have your corner. Do a right or left through. Okay? Now, I'm going to proceed from here. Don't have that much time to do all the stuff I'd like to do with you. So we're not going to worry about resolving. Instead, we're going to show you situations. Okay, could we move these front chairs back and get them out of the way? The first row of chairs. Because what I'm going to do, they might be too crowded and uncomfortable. And then they would hang me at dinner. Yeah. Pass through. One of our favorite calls from a line is a wheel and deal. But we got 6, okay? 3x3 wheel and deal. I hope you never have to teach that. Okay, do a double pass through. First threesome go left, next go right. And there you go. It's a big old 0. But you know what's really cool? Reinhold, who has this computer program out this, calls this a triple wheel and deal. Pass through. Centers wheel around, the outside's wheel and deal behind them. That's cool. It flows a little better, okay? The threesome you got to do the 3 thing because that excites them. Give them a little smoothness down. Now watch this. Double pass through. First couple go left, next couple go right, third couple wheel around. Yeah, technically it's a triple pass through. Star through right here. I get corrected by all the kids. When I first called 8 chain 6 from here, they came up right after a tip and says, Bob, that's not an 8 chain 6. That's a 12 chain 6. And I says, you're right, darlings. Do a 12 chain 6. But it's just a little point. What would be the advantage of saying 12 chain 6 instead of 8 chain 6? Humor. Humor, that's it. All of a sudden it's fun. They can do it and they think, oh, I did something harder. I am so cool. And that's what you want. You want the dancers to win. Okay. Let's return to our actual square. I'm going to set up a couple of things I want to show you. Because I like playing with calls that people say you can't do it there, okay? Let's have the heads pass through and tag the line all the way through and face the middle. Good. Sides walk into the middle and star through and do a zoom. Bob could care less about legal. I only care that people do it and succeed and smile. Okay, now the center couples. Girls, hold on to your man for dear life. And the center couples zoom. Roll back as a couple. The others come in. As a couple, that means you take your man with you. Yeah, and I play with that. I like that. And that's only a distraction. That's not hard to do, okay? Now, let's have the center spread. Then we got a line of 6. You don't go to the wow thing until you play with them. Do a right and a left through. Flutter wheel. Reverse flutter. Oh, they are absolutely so good. You know what a boat is, right? I think we all got an aircraft carrier. Let's have the ends only. The end of each line, load the boat. Centers, why don't you pass through for me? Why don't y'all tag your line? Why don't y'all face in? And everybody's home. Okay? Let's have the head couples pass through. And let's have y'all bend the line, please. Let's do that same thing again because the center couple zoom, roll out, get behind the other couple. Oh, now just the centers individually zoom, roll out behind the line of 4. You got it. Let's have the center couples spread apart. Whoa. The very center couples do a right and a left through. Aren't they marvelous dancers? You betcha. Let's have the couples on the outside of the line do your part to load the boat. Go. Let's have the center 4 do a right and a left through. Let's have you 4 bend back out. And if God is with me, you are home. You need to see that again, don't you? Okay. Heads pass through. Bend the line. Spread apart as a couple. We're going to make it simpler. Okay. If you're on the end, you're a couple. And as a couple, you're going to do what a person does on the end of load the boat. So when we say as a couple, you don't get a divorce till you're home. You take that person with you. So the end couples load the boat, go. And the centers do a right and a left through 2 times. And back out. Where are you? And dancers like that, okay? Heads, Tom, you got to warn me when I'm running out of time. I just got so much stuff here, okay? Let's have the heads square through 4. This one is more to please Bob than it is the dancers, but they get a kick out of it. Single circle to a wave. Do an AC-doocy. Boy run around the girl. Do a Ferris wheel. Oh, that's cool. In the middle, touch a quarter. In the middle, the 2 girls trade. The side, there you go. You got a line with each other. Oh, bless you, darling. Don't trade. Don't go to the voice spot. No, good job. Side couples up to the middle and back, whoever you are. Way back. Those at the heads pass through with a wheel and deal. I'm sort of shortcutting here, okay? And then spread apart and do a star through. I like this, okay? We're going to do a Dixie Grand. Those in the middle, right pull by. Those who can give a left pull by. Everybody right pull by. Alaman left, I hope. Oh, would you guys come home with me? I could use such a good square. Okay, now, simpler things. There's things that I like to do. There's just so much. Sides, square through 4 hands. Okay, now you got this, oh my God, situation. How am I going to work with this? Each inside person with an outside couple do a do-sa-do. Oh, please, sir. When you're a couple, you don't divorce and let go of the girl. You're stuck with her for life. Okay, let's try that again. Each inside person do-sa-do a couple. You've now impressed the audience. All right. Now with that couple, make a 3-hand right-hand star. Go. Sides back to the middle with your partner, make a 2-hand left-hand star. To the outside group. Oh, wait a minute. Now the inside couple, no, Rich, you're still holding on to that girl. That's called jujitsu. You can never hold somebody who's behind you. So the centers take hold of the partner beside you in the center. With the outside line, do a do-sa-do. Oh, you divorced him. Why did you divorce him? Try that again. The inside couples do the outside line. There you go. Again, they dissolve this line. My classes are really riddled with the art of holding hands. Okay, but we just did this. Now this time, make a 6-hand right-hand star. All of you turn. Heads to the middle, make a 4-hand star. Sides, excuse me. I got to say that right. I blow that at home too and use the wrong expression. And back to the outside 4, split them in half. Separate, go around 2, and we got a lion. Now you could have just done that to set up the original thing. Do a touch a quarter here and the boys run. And you've got your 0 boxes. Little boxes. Okay. Alabama left to the corner, come back home. Now we got a calls that they think maybe can't be done, like a grand square. There's God knows how many ways to do a grand square from here. You could workshop a week on the call grand square. Multiple possibilities. The favorite I find is we're going to ask the heads to work as a couple. Now you don't need to wrap around it. You can just hold it. But there's 4 steps to a grand square, right? But when you're a couple, you got twice as many people. So you start like half as many steps. Heads, don't do it now. You're going to take 2 steps and bend the line. How many steps for bend the line? 2. What's 2 plus 2? It keeps the rhythm going, okay? Sides face your partner. Heads, under no circumstances release your partner. Grand square. 1, 2, bend the line. 1, 2, bend the line. 1, 2, bend the line. Count 4 steps. Reverse. 1, 2, bend the line. 1, 2, bend the line. 1, 2, bend the line. 1, 2. Now it's also possible to have the heads go into the middle, quarter turn toward the center, and walk out as a tandem. You got that? That's cool. You can also get everybody in a triple pass-through situation and say, everybody back up, grand square. It's mind-boggling how just adding 2 couples, how many variations you can get off a simple call. Okay? Now, a favorite that they really like doing, girls, if I put 2 girls together, can you hold on to each other? 2 boys, could you hold on to each other? Good. Do a right and left through, heads. That's the way Joe Saltel calls it. Okay, pass through with a wheeling deal. Let's have the center spread apart. Squeeze on in. We got 2 girls together, okay? 2 girls, you're now 1. 2 boys, you're now 1, okay? Head ladies chain. 2 boys turn 2 girls. Side ladies chain. Say, we're normal, we're lucky. All the ladies chain. Whoa, 2x4s. Oh, you're looking so good. That was so nice. Head lady center teacup chain. I'm thinking something is going to happen like always happens for me. Then a couple of boys turn a couple of girls at the end. It's kind of like going out on a teenage date, you know. Okay. A little bit rough, right? But nothing serious there. I have never had to teach this, walk through and do all that thing. Just explain that the girls have to stick together and that. And when they're done with that, you saw them while they were doing it. What was happening? Laughter. They were smiling. Even when they enjoy that. So it's not a question of making it difficult. Just play with it and sell it. Oh gosh, if only, am I running out of time, Tom? Are you sure? Okay. All right. Let's have the head couple star through, please. Okay. Now everybody, we're going to do that grand square here. Everybody's going to back up. But it's a regular one-on-one, so we back up 3 steps and turn, right? Everybody grand square, back up. 1, 2, 3, turn, back away, 2, 3, turn, walk in, 2, 3, turn, walk in, 2, reverse. Yeah, you were doing a grand triangle, son. That is so cool. And you can end it with a triple pass through and do something. But let's, everybody, triple pass through. Okay? All the girls do a U-turn back and all the boys face in. Everybody's going to back up. Girls backing up, boys backing up. Now, it kind of helps them so they don't get confused. We're going to develop what we call quadrants. We're going to break the square into 4 parts. 3 girls, you own your box. 3 boys, you own your box. Does that make sense? Everybody backing up, grand square. Go, 2, 3, turn. 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! She just invaded the boys' territory. Okay. When I say you make your quadrant, draw the center line and under no circumstances ever back away. Now, if you're facing in and that person's far away, the person in the middle determines whether you go forward or back. Got it? Okay, so your girls, you're going to start by back. Everybody starts by backing up. You're my exhibition. I'm counting on you, right? You can make me look good or bad. Please make me look good. Grand square, walk. 1, 2, 3, turn. Forward, 2, 3, turn. Forward, 2, 3, turn. Back, 2, 3, reverse. Turn, 1, 2, 3, turn, 1, 2, 3, turn, 1, 2, 3. We're back to the same setup. Girls face in. Oh yes, give them a hand. Weren't they great? We are going to call you the CALLERLAB exhibition dancers. You are fantastic. Star through for me, kids. Everybody do a triple pass through and do a track 3. Did I teach that? Swing through. Were you hit? Oh, you guys were at my dance last week? Boy, run around the girl. Couple circulate. First off, let's do a Ferris wheel. Veer left. Oh, by the way, did you know the call Ferris wheel was written by a good friend of mine? He's sitting here at the end of the table, Don Beck. Oh. And he allowed me anyway, to say that the rules were Ferris wheel were take 2 steps forward, wheel and deal. Okay? Extend 2 steps so the girls are side by side, wheel and deal. And his original intent allowed it from there. We want to build because we're 6, right? Do a right and a left through, please. Let's have everybody veer to the left. We're going to do a grand Ferris wheel. Everybody take 4 steps forward so the very ends meet in the middle. Sir, you didn't go forward. You circulated. You got to go forward, straight ahead. There you go. Now wheel and deal to the right, and we're in a triple pass-through position. Got it? Make a little more sense now. Good. Do a triple pass-through. And dancers love doing a grand center's in. Cast off 3/4. You like it, don't you? Pass through. Half tag. Divide the line in half. Each boy gets a girl. Swing through. That's better than high school, isn't it? Boy run around the girl. Couple circulate. Gosh, I'm getting giddy here with all this fun stuff. Bend the line. Pass through. Centers wheel around. The others wheel and deal behind them. Grand spread. Lines up to the middle and back. Man, they're good. You know, I've never ever called that before. Touch a quarter here. Yes. Everybody circulate. Good. Boy, oh wait, we don't have that. Okay, everybody trade. Everybody circulate again. Boy run around the girl. Center 2, do a right and a left through and zoom back 2. New center pair, do a right and a left through and zoom back 1. New center pair, do a right and a left through and zoom back 2. Okay. I'm not trying to resolve anymore. I'm just trying to do things. By the way, when I began doing this, I told my dancers, you got 2 choices. One is I always resolve you to your corner. This tip might last for 3 days. Or I can just try to use my imagination and create good calls, and we see what goes from there. 100% of the time they chose forget. They love doing these weird combinations, okay? Centers do a right and a left through, then wheel around, then a right and a left through, and wheel around. Wow. Don't call it too many times. Touch a quarter. Scooter back. Okay. Boy run around the girl. I don't recommend doing this, but at one point you could actually do a spin chain exchange the gears with 6. You just need a wave of 6. Okay. Pass the ocean. Hinge a quarter. I'm not going to do it, okay? It's harder to teach. It takes longer. But if you have puzzle-type dancers, they do it once. Don't do it more than once. Just the knowledge that they got through it sells it. But let's sort of pretend that we're going to do it, okay? With a, what was it going to, swing half of, wait, don't do it yet. Do a split circulate. No. Okay, each wave swing through, rights and lefts. Okay. Yeah, I know, but it's not quite what I want. I shouldn't have done that split circulate, but that's okay. The boy on the end who's facing in, right? Oh, no. And who's the boy next to him? Okay, that boy facing out. You're going to be the leader. Got that with me? Okay. Let's swing half of the right. In the middle, swing left 3/4. And the end people turn around. And see this weird shaped diamond that you have? Look to your left, darling. Convert that to a left-hand star. And turn it around. Just walk forward and it'll fall into place. 6-hand star. So you follow the boy. Okay, and it rolls around. Go. When that lead boy gets to the middle, walk around the outside. Okay, follow him. All right, the first boy flip back, the first girl flip back, and the last girl flip in. There you go. And flow is not the ultimate. That six couple star is there. I just was challenged. Well, you can't do that. Huh? Yeah, it does. It works really nice. It's better if the lead one is a girl because that's what they're used to doing. In the wave of 6, swing through. Right, in a wave of 6, swing through. Good. Everybody with a right hand hinge a quarter. All the boys run around the girls. Okay. We'll show you how to get into this setup later. This also allows you to do a time travel back into the history of dancing, right? He says never do a dive through. You could here. You can do better than a dive through. You can do dip and dive. Center's arch, the outside's dive through. Go. Center's arch, the outside's dive through. Center's arch, the outside's dive through. Sam, make an arch. Make an arch. And they'll go under. Oh, did they circulate or something? You California twirl. There you go. There we go. And I forget what the number is. Talk to Bob over here later. He'll tell you how many dip and dives is a 0. Yeah, back to where you started. That's great. Make a squared up set. How do I really get into that setup? Okay. If you did a lead to the right, heads, it's the same as doing a touch a quarter, walk and dodge. So let's be sure. Heads touch a quarter, do the walk and dodge. Remember where you are, okay? That's where you would be if you did lead to the right, okay? California twirl in the middle, swing through, Bowie run, bend the line. Okay, bend it. You're squared up. Is that right with your partner? Okay, it doesn't matter. We'll pretend this is the partner, right? So, heads lead to the right. Here's even, to me, it's cool. I'm sorry I get excited about these things, but I do. Okay, if we do a circle to a line, think of the basic rules. Well, if you would allow me to explain, maybe we would solve it. Okay? If you're facing the outside couple, you circle, or if it's the outside girl. Who's the outside girl? Who makes the arch and goes under the traditional way. In the middle, who's the outside girl? There is none. Okay? So, the outsides, everybody circle halfway, circle to a line. The centers just veer left because that's how you finish a circle to, no, circle half first, Rich. Half, then veer. And you followed the rules to circle to a line and we're set up for the dip and dive. We're not going to do it again because you saw how fun it was, okay? After the dip and dive, bend the line. And you're in your 0 line. So those of you that study choreography, you haven't done anything. The dancers, though, are saying, my God, you're a genius. Yeah, and it's just really cool. It's fun to do. Pass the ocean. Heck, what else? Oh, I know. Excuse me. Just go back to your square because I did something brand new for this year's scholar session. How many of you guys have ever done any traditional dancing? You have? How many have not? Oh, cool. How many have ever done Venus and Mars? Oh, you're going to get it right the first time. Okay. Hey, let's number the couples. This one I got for a regular square from Tony, and I found out it works with 6. I got to tell you a secret. It looks like I'm a genius. Everything I use with 4 couples, I use with 6. Okay? Heads flutter wheel, would you please? Oh, I forgot to tell you your number. Well, the boys are back to where they started, right? Or the girls are. Okay, we'll call this a squared set. Couple number 1. Where's couple number 2? Raise your hand. Thank you. Couple number 3, 4, 5, 6. You can all remember that? Good. Now we're pretending we're squared up. Heads flutter wheel. You're going to get that same partner back. Okay? Star through. Pass through. We're going to do a 12 chain your number. In other words, couple number 1 does a 12 chain 1. Couple number 2, 12 chain 2. Ready? Do a 12 chain your number. Sam, what was your number? 1. When you did the courtesy turn, you did number 2. All right. Everybody do a partner trade. He just was testing me to see if I knew it was going. Okay, who's the leaders at the front of the line? We're going to follow that person, okay? Girls go girls go right, boys go left. Go. Follow the leader. Make 2 stars. Boys left, girls right. Keep turning the stars. Stop for a second. As you're going around, you're meeting your partner, okay? We'll start with you, Bob. It doesn't matter. You would usually pick couple number 1. Pick up your partner, star promenade. Ooh. No, darling. Oh, well. She was the lead, but that's okay. Keep turning. And as you go around, everybody picks up your partner, star promenade back home. Yeah. On top of the stove, Bob, on top of the stove. And I learned that was cool. That was cool. Heads lead to the right. Circle to a line. Whoa, there's that one again. Bend the line. That's not smooth, but I wanted to show you this one because I found the traditional ways of setting it were hard. Okay, everybody do a half sachet, please. Does everybody know near line, far line? Far line is all the people facing me. Near line has all the backs to me, okay? So the far boys, raise your hand. And the near girls, and pass through. Cool. All the boys with the left hand cast off 3/4. All the girls with the right hand hinge. Girls, do you see your rectangle box? Boys, do you see yours? Split, circulate 1.5. Boys make a left hand star. Girls make a right hand star. Keep turning. 6. Okay. Start with anybody. Pick up your partner in the middle, star promenade, and go back home. Oh, by the way, with Venus and Mars, that's the way it was always done. That was cool. That was cool. Let's do it again because I want you to see something. Heads lead right. Circle to a line. And again, this is not recommended. I'd never call it this way. Bend your line so I've got our facing lines. Do a half sachet. Okay. Now, don't assume. What's your number, darling?
I was 2.
You're still 2. Okay. When we do the star promenade, you're the leader. Okay? All right. We did the half sachet. Far boy, near girl, pass through. Boys cast off 3/4. Ladies hinge. There's your box. Ready? Split, circulate 1.5 and make your stars. Turn them a full turn. And starting with lady number 2, keep your star, girl, and you take the boy with you, star promenade. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy. And take them back home. And you'll all be in sequence, and the boy will be on the... Yeah. Where was home? I must have done something. Oh. Okay. No, I have no problem with that. How much time we got, Tom?
About 8 minutes.
Okay. Don was inspired, and he's going to create something for you. So I'll call this the end of my session. By the way, if you couldn't get a handout, you can talk to me, and I'll give you an email address, and you can get the PDF form straight from me. Also, out in the thing, there's a guy selling a program called CALLERLAB. Almost all my choreography is in there as you can play it and see it.
Bob, you can have the mic back when I'm done. This won't take long at all.
No, that was all I needed to do. You may come up here and play.
You all home? Call this home. It doesn't. Yeah, I was going to have him come back and finish his thing. I just want to interrupt because it was something that he might enjoy too. It feels good to the dancers. Heads lead right in the circle to a line, the way you were doing it for Bob. This is where he had you doing a dip and dive. There's another thing that I used to do when I was doing traditional dancing that I remember as a dancer felt really nice. And I tried to extend it to normal four-couple stuff, and it didn't work. But from here, it might work nicely. Those couples facing do a right and left through. The ones in the center of the square do a full courtesy turn to face the other outside, too. Everybody do a right and left through, or those facing. The ones in the center do a full courtesy turn to the other outside, too. Do a right and left through if you're facing. In the center, do a full courtesy turn to face the others. And right and left through and keep going until you get nauseous, or until you get back where you started from. How does that feel, guys? You ought to... But similar to the dip and dive, but a little bit different variety in it. Okay, that's all I wanted, Bob. Tom?
Any questions?
Would you guys like to relax and sit down? You may. Thank you.
As I was sitting here watching the ones that was in the square and their facial expressions and the ones sitting on the sideline, you got to realize that if you've never done this stuff before, you do not have to do all this fancy stuff right off from get-go. Everything that you look at in a rectangle square, like your right and left throughs, your swing throughs, your circulates, your columns, can be very simple. In other words, if you have only 6 couples in your class, you can do all the basic stuff pretty much given in your rectangle squares. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out all of the fancy stuff, and it's very important that we stress that, because you don't have to do the stuff that Bob was doing and so forth from the get-go. All right, and it's kind of neat to get dancers going and so forth. And we have a question. State your name there, if you would, please.
Gary Smith, Whitecourt, Alberta. After you finish your patter, if you were going to use this in a singing call, would you go ahead and then just do right and left grand forehands? And would you promenade how far? And if you were going to use the same traditional figures that we're used to?
I'm glad you brought that up. That was on my thing, and I forgot to do it. Okay? I will tell you, how often do you think you'll do this tonight, in a night? Probably once. And you only need one good singing call thing, okay? And mine is all based on the 8 chain 6. Okay, you could call head square through, relay the deucey, boys run, promenade home, perfectly timed. Perfect, okay? Head square through 4, do a 12 chain 6. That's the corner, swing and promenade. Again, perfectly timed. But you want more variety. Why don't you call head square through 4, pass through, trade by 8 chain 4. It's still 12 chains 4. It's still the same thing, but the dancer doesn't think so. Or you pass through, do a 12 chain 4, then do a pass through and trade by after the square through. I think I'm getting twisted here. Senior moments. But the whole thing I do. Now, how do we deal with the single couple versus the line of 4? You can't tell them square through and have the same timing. You know what works? Sides face, back away, everybody touch a quarter, boys run. You virtually have the same timing as when the other couple did the square through. And it's simple, and you can do your song. And remember, that the one thing you do when you sing a song is sound like Tom Miller. You want to impress them with the song, not the choreography. Okay? And as Don said, you change 6 times and do it. So I might do a circle left, ladies in the men's sachet, and let them circle. Alaman left, box and ant, swing this girl in front, and that's your corner you're swinging. But I'll do something like that. Thank you.
Bob Riggs, Centennial, Colorado. I actually use this not in dance forms, but in class forms fairly frequently and in some community dance stuff. And I actually cite. There's some important things to know. If you take either the side couples home with their partner, the middle is actually resolvable 99% of the time, unless you have done something in the middle to take them away and to make them unusual. If you take them away, you have to take them back. So you can mix them up, but you must take them back. And when you don't do that, then you get in trouble. 99% of the time, I'm successful if I bring the number 2 couple either to the 2 spot or the 4 spot, and then resolve the rest of it. And I do virtually everything in mainstream on a fairly regular basis. I haven't done much in plus and rectangles, but because it does some different things. And mainstream, because a lot of it's 2 couple dancing. Now, I am a little different. I do everything by the definition. There's no such thing as a right and left grand 6 hands. I'm not trying to do 4 couple and 6 couples simultaneously in rectangles in what I've been doing. So be aware of that. If you're trying to do both on the floor, then you have to make adjustments for that. But Bob's right. The dancers have a lot of fun with it. And even my community dance group they'll show up with only 6 couples there to dance, and they're only using 25 basics. They're having a great time with it, and they really think it's cool. Thank you.
Okay, we've got some more hands up. Here we go.
Bruce Simpers, Maryland. I have both the 6 couple rectangular, square, and 4 couples. If I have the 4 couples have their chain the ladies over, then I do all the 6 figure changes. They're back with their partner, as well as this rectangular square.
Yeah, the point is you can have one square of 4 dancers and 4 couples and 1 square of 6, and if you're clever, you can keep everybody going.
I'm not clever. Dennis Clark from Indianapolis. I have done the 6 couple square a couple of times with my home club, and they have been very patient with me. I can dance them like crazy, but when it comes to resolving, I have a lot of problems with it. And I'm glad you said what you said, because I wanted to say the same thing. If they give me 3 days, I can resolve them. You have made those comments, and I take it that you're serious about that you have had success with being able to present that way, and they have fun with it.
Absolutely. One year I went out and I used to fill in for Bronkwise at C1, and they had it. And they were going to go home. I said, let's do 6 couples. I thought they were going to throw their chairs at me. I said, well, just do it. And I just used their choreography with 6 couples. And from that point on, for 2 years, I had to do it every time I came. They wanted to do it. They looked forward to it. Bob is right. You don't have to do the plus. But I'm here to highlight that, and I do come from an area where you can't have a mainstream dance. It's all plus dances. That's the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. That's what the people do. So that's what I'm used to working with. But you can do anything. The point is that I wanted to make anything as possible if you just let it happen.
So there was a question asked before we started. How many here has never done rectangle squares? How many has never done rectangle squares? Don't be bashful. All right? Calling. How many has never called rectangle squares? All right? It's important to remember this, that you can start off almost like building a house. You got to start with that foundation and work your way up, meaning that you can just work with the basics to get the feel on how the rectangle squares work. And if I was to sit back and watching those who have called rectangle squares, I'm going to get them be looking all over the place to where everybody's at in that square. You only need to watch same couples that you normally watch. If you have the head square through 4, you got 3 boxes. So I tell my dancers at home that if you're in the center box and you're looking at this couple and this couple here, is we have to ignore a couple of couples in that square. We have to look at which square that we're technically in or what box. If you're in this box here, forget about what's happening behind us. Worry about what you're working here. If you have a two-faced line and you have three two-faced lines and the caller calls couples circulate, worry about your part of the circulate. It doesn't matter to where the other couples are throughout that rectangle square. If you get into the plus and you call the hinge and you have 3 diamonds, you have to identify 3 diamonds. As a caller, I'm not looking at 3 diamonds. I'm looking at 2 diamonds that I normally call on a regular basis. So if I can diamond circulate, and if I have the boys swing through, it's a swing through. I don't care if there's 2 more boys added to that, or 2 girls. If I say flip the diamond, I'm back into 3 diamonds, but I'm only looking at 2. And that's how you have to treat this when you're working these calls. We don't need to be standing there trying to figure out where every single dancer is, where every single dancer is in that rectangle square. So it doesn't take a whole lot of work. So if you have the head square through 4, you swing through, AC-doocy, you can do a right and left grand. If you do a swing through, boys run, Ferris wheel, centers pass through, Alameda left. That was the whole point of the whole thing. Anything that you can do normally with 4 couples pretty much works throughout the whole thing. Now, I do things differently than what Bob does or what Don does, and I wish we had more time to do this. You know, I do a spin chain exchange of the gears from 3 waves. And I have the outside waves working around the center star while the center star turns their own star half. I just do things differently. I think it was the drugs that I took when I had a bad cold one time. But the thing of it is that you have to experiment. Don't step into the fire full force. Don't put both feet in. You know, check the temperature out first. Get to be comfortable with what you're doing. Any other questions?
Let me say one thing. What I did here today was 6 months to a year's material, but it was to show you before you got home. Please don't go and try and do everything in one night.
There you have it. On behalf of Don Beck, Bob Elling, thank you for choosing the Rectangle Hour. So, a lot of information. Enjoy it. Enjoy the rest of the convention, kids.
If you want to give me your email address, I'll be glad to send you a PDF.